Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We're a little early, so we'll wait about a minute. I want to be respectful of everyone's time and make sure everyone's able to get on. Scheduling is becoming an issue now in the sense that people or students are having multiple video calls during the day. So I'm sure we'll cover that. Maybe we'll look at calendars on Monday to be able to kind of figure out the best practices of scheduling a virtual, desk and virtual office. Especially too for students. So right now, at our high school level, our kids are, all over the place, right? So they have different classes, different virtual classes. So a way for them to be able to handle that and scheduling similar times that we had in the physical school. That way, it kind of might be a little bit more able to be organized. So we'll give one more minute, let people join up. If you haven't already, if you go to rsu19.info, that's really the place to start with all these resources. That's where I'll keep them and keep adding to them. What that will do is there is an attendance link on there. We haven't done this before. I just was asked by the administration to kind of have people keep track of who's joining the PD and kind of to know who's here and who's not and so forth. So I do know there's a couple people that had emailed me that they have other virtual meetings today. So that's kind of why that's interfering, and so be it. But this way we can start the idea of keeping track of who's joined us and so forth, and we'll start doing that from this point on. So if you do go to rsu19.info, you'll find a link there that says, if you scroll down a little bit, attendance sign in. We've had about 40 to 50 people joining us each day, not only from our district. We have a handful of people that are in other districts joining us as well. Also, if you are on by audio only and you want to sign in, but you're here, feel free to just email me or text me, and I'm happy to add you, no big deal. So we are starting at 10 o'clock. I think we've got a good group showing up, and so we're going to start our official show here. So as I mentioned, it is important that you do sign in. So all that means is if you go to rsu19.info, you will see the link there. If you scroll down a little bit, it says attendance sign in. So we're live streaming this for educators that are in different districts or different schools that want to watch and kind of participate virtually that way. We're also in our Hangouts Meet right now that everybody's joined us, so that way you guys are able to just interact with me as needed, either with chat or if you want to leave a message. If you scroll down again on that rsu19.info page on the left side, it says question and comments. And so I've decided to let me refresh here. I've decided to kind of be a little bit more organized with the schedule of the hour. So we're going from 10 to 11. And as we kind of grow here together and figure this stuff out, what my plan is we will do the same process, but I'll spend the first few minutes answering questions from the audience from like the day before or maybe last week. And again, any questions at any time, if you think of one, if you go to that rsu19.info and scroll down, you'll see questions and you can leave comments or so forth. And I'll go through those as ones that are appropriate and make sense. And then we will go into an actual topic. And so what we're going to talk about today is turning analog work into digital work. And what it means is if you have something, you have a paper, you have a worksheet, you want to make a digital version of that, some of the tips and tricks that you can use to do that. Somebody asked me, one question yesterday was, what about the K2 set? If a kindergartner through up to second or third grader. Generally speaking, in my experience has been about fifth grade on, students are developmentally able to digitize their own work and kind of take that over. That's about, for me, where that shift is. Fourth grade down, they really need it with help if they're able to do it at all. So we'll talk about different options we have there and how we can handle that. So if everybody's signed in, I know a couple people just joined us. If you haven't signed in yet for the attendance, please do. Go right to rsu19.info and click that attendance sheet and fill that in. Other questions that came up, big news, this is really important. So Google Hangouts, which we're using right now, or Meet, kind of same thing, just added a new feature they didn't have before. And the new feature, and I linked all these links, the links that I share, all the information I share will be on that rsu19.info site. And right in there, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see kind of show notes and all the links that I add. And if I add something that I haven't mentioned before, I'll put it in there. But they have a Google Hangouts update, and it allows the moderator, the host, in this case myself, to mute other people or to add them or to remove them, or basically have total control of what happens in there. And the reason why that's so important is you as a teacher, if you're doing a Google Hangout with your students, you really need to be able to mute somebody if you need to, or if you have to kick somebody out, so be it, or limit that to just the people in that space. So it also allows so that once the hangout is over, it doesn't continue to be there. The way it was before is like basically once you started a hangout, you could leave it, but the hangout would still be running, so students would be able to kind of connect with each other. And it is a tricky thing, because on one hand, we really don't want our kids to get too isolated, right? If they are by themselves at a home, mom and dad, maybe they're still working, in at a supermarket or something like that. They still have to go leave the house. We do want to have some interaction with our kids as much as possible. So I think with this ability now, we'll be able to see the students. I think almost everybody has laptops. If they don't, I know even some of the 5th and 6th graders, parents came in and signed out, Chromebooks. So pretty much almost everybody. Again, if somebody doesn't, let us know. But I think almost everybody who wants one has one now. And this will be the easiest way for you to connect. Somebody else asked about, meeting with somebody one-on-one. Can I meet with a student one-on-one? When in doubt, I wouldn't. If you can help it, like, why not have an ed tech join you? If an ed tech's available at home and you know somebody, have it, it's like basically I use the rules that we do for Boy Scouts. I'm one of the Boy Scout leaders for my sons, and there's never an opportunity where an adult is alone with one student at any time. So what I would do is either do have a 3-way video conference, like myself and maybe an ed tech or another teacher and the student, or at the very least, hit that record button. As I mentioned, these all can be recorded and they'll store as a video, and that way you have a record of everything that happens in that. Along those notes, another option I've been getting a lot of emails from, and I promise to do an entire episode about this as soon as we can. Right now we're trying to get through some of the basics piece of this, but Google Voice. So if you are interested in having basically, as I mentioned yesterday, another phone number that you can use to be able to basically as a parental number where they can text or call that number, but they're not really calling your phone. Yes, your phone's ringing, but it's another service. I will do a whole video about that specifically. And the biggest thing to note is with that, it's a little bit different, is if you use it through a domain, so for example, through your school account, it is they want to charge for that, because not for schools per se, but for enterprise, and so that's a little bit different. If you do your own personal one, that's when it's free, and so that's why it gets a little bit weird, and we want to make sure that everybody understands exactly how to do it. So that's why I haven't just thrown something out there. We want to make sure we have the time to cover it appropriately. For those people that are just joining us, please take the time to go on to rsu19.info. And if you would scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a link that says attendance sign in. And the administration has asked me to keep track of who's joining us. So I'm not able to look at the list. I can see it, but I wouldn't have time to look at everybody and get everybody to add to them. So if you just go on there, and if you add yourself, to the list, you'll be good to go. I'm also, if you know somebody who's joining by phone, no problem. They can either text me or email me or email you, and you can let them know. It does record what your address is. So as you're entering that form, it'll say who's actually filling it in. And so that's the easiest way to do that. One other question that came up yesterday was, or maybe it was the day before, posting pictures of worksheet in Google Classroom. Are there copyright issues with that? It really depends on what you're taking a photo of. Some services, I know, for example, if I had sheet music, if I was a music teacher, I had sheet music, and I just took a picture of that and just gave it to all my kids so that we wouldn't have to buy the sheet music, that would probably be an issue. But as far as, if you're using like a Teachers Pay Teachers, or if you're using a service that is designed to be photocopied, that's the purpose. As if you're using like a Teachers Pay Teachers, or if you're using a service that is designed to be photocopied, that's the purpose of them. Like I get a book that has different worksheets that's meant to be photocopied and distributed to my students. I don't see any issue there. So I really would look at the copyright per item that you're looking at. And again, there's tons of resources out there as far as free stuff. And I'm not saying everything, but there's a lot of free stuff that's out there available. And for example, I know I think I mentioned this yesterday. If I was going to do math worksheets, which there are tons out there, I would really strongly, even the younger kids, I would really strongly look at some of those online math services. If I'm talking just calculations, addition, subtraction, just kind of simple stuff, there's a lot of really good, free services on there that kids can use. They can sign up for accounts, and it's all free. And it's really designed to do that kind of math. For example, it gives you tools there that you can draw with your touchpad, or you can have a scratch paper or that kind of stuff. So I would look at Khan Academy or Prodigy or some of these things that I think are really a better way to do that piece of it. as far as virtual stuff. Now there's other things that you can't obviously just digitize and make a program to do that, and we'll talk about some of those. And also all of those as resources come in, again on that rsu19.info link right at the very top, I put the list, educational continuity tools and resources. So that link will give you a Google Doc that you can go through, be able to go through, and you will actually be able to, if it's anything that's not on there you think should be, let me know. I'm happy to add things. And also somebody asked me the other day, are they allowed to share that document? Absolutely, 100%. Share it out with as many people as much as you want. We were working on ones that were a little bit different for parents than for teachers, because you guys might have a little bit different needs and roles than a parent's would. But at this point, anybody who wants to look through that stuff, feel free, and we'll keep adding to that as we get more things. So one last reminder, then I'm going to move on to the people that just joined us. If you haven't gone to rsu19.info and signed in the attendance, please do that. Don't worry about it if you didn't do it yesterday, the day before. We just started this today. Like I said, I was asked by administration, and so now we're going to start that from this point on. So if you go to that. So let's check the chat real quick. Are K4 students going to be able to sign out laptops at some point? Great question. I don't know the answer to that. It will probably have to be through parents specifically. So there'll probably be a method if we're able to do that. I also don't know if we would have enough. I mean, we have a lot. We have one-to-one in the sense of enough machines, 5th through 12th grade, I'm sure. I don't know what our numbers look like through K through 4. So would that mean it's a situation where like first come, first serve, or how would that work? Maybe we'd do 4th grades first, then 3rd grades, then 2nd grades, and on our way down. I'm not exactly sure. Some people clicked on, so Billy mentioned, click on the join meeting and not the live stream, so there are a lot missing this. It doesn't matter to me if you're on the live stream or the meeting. Either one should be similar. So if the live stream, what that means is you're just watching it, you're not able to participate, which is perfectly fine to me. The only difference is you can't leave a chat comment. Really, that's the biggest difference. Yeah, if you can't sign in for that, that's no problem. That's just for our own staff in RSU19, and so that's really just so that people can get basically credit for being here. So if you're somebody outside the different district, no one can hear me on the other one, on the live stream or the meet. I know somebody just mentioned somebody's able to hear me. I'm going to check it right now. Okay, so I want to make sure this is accurate. So I signed into the live stream link. Billy, are you able to hear me through the live stream link? Okay, but people are not able to hear me through Google Meet? Yeah, it's a few seconds behind. Yeah, there will be a delay. That's just the nature of it. The other thing too, and you can mention this to other people if they ask, all these are going to be recorded, and they are being recorded right now. And then these will be stored on that rsu19.info site. I haven't had time to yet, but I'm going to go through and not only have the video, but put a little notes with them. And so if you want to go back and rewatch one later on, or if you want to reference, hey, he talked about Google Voice. What was the episode about that? I'll have that all listed and organized as soon as I get a chance to do that. So hopefully maybe this weekend. So the thing that I wanted to talk about today is really the setup of the idea of digitizing analog work. So if you have analog work, physical work, things, worksheets or whatever it is, how do we do that process of taking photos of that, maybe video of that? You do want to make sure, because out there, somebody make sure that you are muted because we can hear you. I'll mute somebody real quick. When you do join, please. Yeah, that way we don't hear you. So when we do digital work, we do analog work. So let's say I have a worksheet or I have something. And the quickest, easiest way, we did do a video recording yesterday using Screencastify. Again, if you watch yesterday's episode, that's great to record your screen, and you can video record yourself. Now, you could use that just as a video recorder. You could just record using your webcam and have a video and you're done. That's cool. You can absolutely do that. But sometimes you just want to do a quick snapshot. I'm going to show you a couple different ways of doing that. So the first way, if you're using a laptop and if you want to take a picture of something, we're going to use the Chrome camera. Now, again, I'm going to do the process where I'm going to use this camera I'm using right now. Because I'm broadcasting with it, I can't use it to take a picture at the same time for you guys to see that. So we're actually going to look at a different laptop, and hopefully that comes through okay. Let's see, I'm gonna try this one more time. There we go. So I'm just signed into that dummy account, that blank student account, and I'm going to go in the process of how would I record or take a picture using this called Chrome cameras, what the actual address is here. So the first thing I would go to is bit.ly/Chrome camera, all lowercase, no spaces. And again, these links are all found on that show note, so you'll be able to find this if you can't read it right there. So this app, if you don't have the app already, you would click Add App. Now, if our students are using their Chromebooks, it's already been pushed, so they should already have it on their machines. Educators, teachers in RSU 19, you guys should already have it on your Chromebooks. But if you're using this on a different machine, this is how you would do it. You click on that bit.ly/Chrome camera, click install. I'm going to launch the app, and this just uses another little inception, a camera, taking a picture of the camera. But this uses the webcam right up here to take photos. So I'm here. I can technically do videos too, but I'm just going to use it for a snapshot. I'll do a quick snapshot. Hey, everybody. Click the little circle here. You can do the process of holding up a document if you want to take the picture. If I click on that right now, there's my image. Now you notice, I don't know if you picked up on this, but it actually does switch it around, because it's like looking in a mirror. When you look in a mirror, you're actually looking at a horizontally flipped version of yourself. So for what that's worth. When I take the picture, that looks pretty good. I'm going to download it right here. There's a little up and down arrows. When I click, oops, I don't want to trash it. Download. Now, when you do this on a PC, which I'm at right now, I'm going to go right to the desktop so I can see it. If I do this on a Chromebook, it's going to go in the folder that is, it's basically the downloads folder. So I can go into the downloads folder and find the image. So I'm going to go look to see where it landed. Here it is. Here's my picture. Cool. I took another picture earlier, which I want to share with you in a second. All right, so I'm going to close this out. I took a picture with this. That's pretty cool. Again, that Chrome camera. Exit that out. I'm going to go back to here. So now I took the picture. Now what I want to do with it. Now I could send that directly to Classroom if I wanted to. I can open up Google Classroom, upload that picture, and share it, and off I go. But I'm actually going to do a little bit of editing with it. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to show you some options you have. So if I take that, I'm back in my google.com. I'm going to click up here in the upper right on the waffle, as we mentioned before. And I'm going to use a thing called Google Photos. Now, again, you don't have to do it this way if the picture came out just as you want it. You don't want to do any editing. You don't need to crop it or tilt it or anything like that. It's perfect. You're good to go. But if you do want to, I can scroll down. And here's Photos. Now, you do have to scroll down a little bit. And it'll look like kind of like a pinwheel. And so Google Photos, or photos.google.com. Okay, this is going to pop up. One home for all my photos. Cool. Yep, this looks really good. Now, one thing to realize is Google Photos is unlimited as far as storage goes, so you can upload everything you want there. And one of the most common questions I receive, my sister has an iPhone, and she'll tell me, "Hey, Kern, my iPhone's full." Well, usually when it's full, it's because of photos and videos. And so what I'll typically do is say, "Hey, you should install Google Photos," and that way all your pictures are being automatically wirelessly uploaded. And when you're done, you have backups of them. So I'm going to continue here. All right, so now I'm in Google Photos. Well, the first thing I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to upload a picture. So click Upload, in this case from the computer. I'm going to go find my picture. Now, I took a picture a little bit ago. Instead of kind of seeing my ugly face, we're going to choose a picture I took of Baby Yoda. We have a 3D printed Baby Yoda, so I'm going to upload that. When this pops up, this is the upload size. It says original, full resolution that counts against your data or your quota, or high quality. Unless you are a professional photographer, you'll probably just want high quality, free unlimited storage. The reason why they have this option here is if I was a professional photographer and I had millions of photos at really, really big sizes and really big resolutions, they wouldn't want to necessarily give me free unlimited storage there. But for us normal human beings that take just regular pictures with our phone or using their laptops, high quality is absolutely fine. So that's what I'm going to choose. Click Continue. Give it a second. These little pop-ups come up. I'm going to click on Photos, and my photo should be there once it's loaded here. let's refresh. And there it is. So there's my picture. So there's a picture I took earlier. Cool. Now, that image, I'm going to go through the process. Let's make sure everybody can see it here. I'm going to go through the process of editing it and doing what I want with it. So if I upload that photo, clicking upload, I can click on it now. And here it is. There's Baby Yoda. Very adorable. Some of the things I can do with it right up here in the upper right, some of the icons. First thing, I can share it. I could click on that. I could send it to somebody else. I could just share it directly as a link so they can get a picture. I can share it to Facebook or Twitter, etc. You can also make albums. Now, if I wanted to make a shared album of many different photos and share those and let other people add to them, this might be something you may want to do. You may want to say to your students, hey guys, go take a picture of something interesting outside today. Use your Chromebook or whatever, or inside or something. So they could take a photo. You can make a shared album and share with all your students, and they could just add to that photo album. And that way you could all kind of share together. It's an easy way to do that. The next icon right here, this little gear sliders, it says edit. Well, that's what we're going to do right now. That's the edit icon. So we're going to click on that. So when I'm editing these images, these are called filters. And if anybody of you guys are Instagram, aficionados, filters are basically, I can click on top of it, and it'll add like these effects to the entire image at once, which are pretty cool. There's a black and white one. There's a little bit more stronger. You can also take the little slider down here, and you can adjust how hard those effects are applied. So these look pretty cool. And that's great, but I may want to do more than just use the effects that are already given to me. So up here at the top, these are the filters here. Up here at the top, if I go over to the right here in the middle, these are more detailed edits. So I can change. So here's the lighting. Now, if this isn't granular enough, so there's not enough options here, I can click this pull down right there. And now I can really get into things like exposure and the contrast and really detail this out, the highlights, the vignettes, if I want to put like a vignette around it. So we're really going to focus on Baby Yoda. That looks cool. The whites, let's make them a little bit brighter. And those highlights, we'll really kind of kick it out there. And the shadows, let's make it a little bit darker there. It looks like he's kind of floating in space. Cool. If I scroll down some more, under color, there's another link right here, color on the right side. I'll see that little pull down, that little down arrow. And again, the saturation. Do I want it to be really bright or kind of black and white? We'll make them really, really bright. Warmth, the reds to the blues. Like how warm am I making it? The tint. Do I want Yoda not to be green anymore? Do I want to change it to a different color? I'm going to keep him green. Skin tone. Again, I don't know what's going to do to Yoda here, but skin tone, if you do have people's flesh tone in it. Blues. And at the bottom here, there's one called pop. And that used to be basically sharpen. So if I really want to make it a little bit fuzzier, a little sharpener. And so these are all kind of effects that will apply to the entire image at once. Now, if you're just taking a photo of a worksheet, you may not care about this. But if you're taking a photo of your dog or your kids or something else that you want to digitize and have a copy of, these are really handy. And then the final thing in the upper right here, this little icon, if I click on that, this is the crop tool and the rotate tool. So if I crop this like this, let's say I want to crop it just around Baby Yoda. And I can also, if I want to, I can tilt it a little bit. So maybe he's tilted like that. That looks pretty cool. Cropped in, click done. That looks great. I'm happy with that. Click done. Oh, the other thing too, before I leave this part here, anytime if you click on the image itself and hold down, it will show you the original and then show you the updates you made, kind of back and forth. It'll show you the original and the changes you made. So I'm going to click done. Give it a second here. Okay. In the upper left and back, and we'll see there's my image. Cool. One really, really cool thing about this is if I click on this, okay, I can, if I wanted to download it, I could download this image, but I could also download the original. What that means, it's called non-destructive. So it doesn't just, after you make a change like I did here, it keeps both copies, the original copy you had and the one that you changed. And sometimes that's useful. I can also add it to an album. Now, an album or a shared album. An album is something that you're going to have for yourself, whereas a shared album is really shared. So you're going to make an album, you're going to put other people in it. That's really the difference between those two. Back here, that looks pretty good. So let's say I want to add that picture, now that I've edited it, it looks really good, into a Google Doc to share with my Google Classroom. Okay, so I took a picture, did some editing. I am going to share one last thing before we leave this, and this is not for everyone. But if you are someone who is really looking for more granular, more details than you could do with Google Photos, you really want to get in there and edit certain things, there's a website called Photopea, Photopia, or Photopea, depending on how you want to pronounce that. It's free. It's kind of like a Photoshop, but it's online and the kids can use this. Again, it's more complex because you have more options. Therefore, it's got more features. But I wouldn't stick little kids on this. This is probably too complex for them. But if you have older students that are interested in doing something Photoshop-like, this is a great way to be able to do that. So Photopea is a great website. It's free. And they can upload the photos same way and do edits to them and so forth. But we're going to go back to Classroom. Okay, so here's my classroom. And I want to add that photo as an assignment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to make a Google Doc. Let's go to Drive. And I'm going to make a new Google Doc. And the assignment is called Baby Yoda. What do you think? All right, so I've got my Baby Yoda assignment. What do you think? Here's my question here. What do you think? Cuter than Baby Groot, question mark. And so for those geeks out there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If the Baby Yoda, Baby Groot question, it's a big deal. So, all right, now I want to insert my image in here. A couple options. I can insert image and upload from the computer. So I can do that, and I go find that original picture here, click open, and there it is. I don't have a lot of edit properties in here. I mean, I can't really, I can crop it, I can double click on it, and I can crop around the edges like that, but that's about as far as I can do. I hit enter, that's about as far as I can do. So I can't, if I need to adjust the image as far as the quality or turn it or any of that kind of stuff, I can't do that here. This is the original image. If I keep scrolling down here, if I go insert image, whoops, try that again, insert image from photos, from Google Photos, that now is going to be my photo album from Google Photos right here. And I'll see it. Oh, there's my one that I just created. Let's click on that one and I'll insert it right here. So that's my edited version of that same photo, and that's useful too. And again, I can resize if I need to here. Let's resize it a little bit more. So it jumps up. Cool. Again, all these I can share. This document now I can share as an assignment with my students. One other feature here, again, this may or may not be useful depending on what you're doing. I can insert image from camera. And what's going to happen is I can actually allow the camera. And again, I can take a picture right here. Actually, let me grab my Baby Yoda here. Take a new picture here. Right into the doc itself. And that might be enough. If you're doing something quick and you just want to take a quick picture and have it insert for students, I can click Insert, Image, Camera, and it'll be right there, ready to go. So again, depending on what your needs are, maybe that's fine. We do this with students. We're starting about 6th grade. We have kids do, as far as we do this assignment with kids, and they all take a little Android, kind of character, and they take a picture and they add their own head to it. So I'll share that as an option if you guys want to kind of check that out. So this document now, if I want to share this as an assignment, I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom, my home learning Google Classroom. I'm going to go to classwork. We're going to create a new assignment, called Who is Cuter? Question mark. And I'm going to add from Google Drive. There's my Baby Yoda. Add. Now, do I want students just to be able to view this file, or do they want their own copy? So I'm going to give them each their own copy. And in this situation, I mean, this question, if I literally was just going to have, one versus the other, I would just let them vote. So I probably would do a question, not an assignment. But I want them to write a full essay, a full page on all the rationale and reasonings why, of course, Baby Yoda is cuter than Baby Groot, or so forth, whatever it is. I want all students. This looks all good. Due date, we'll say next week. We need to have it on my desk by Monday. We're going to put this under home learning as a topic. We're not going to add a rubric right now. Yes, we'll turn on originality reports. We're going to make sure that none of our students are, copying from somebody else. This all looks great. I'm going to assign this. And I scroll down here. Here's my assignment. So who's cuter, Baby Yoda or Baby Groot? Excellent. One more feature that I want to share with you guys as far as not only digitizing non-digital work, but also making documents that kids can use to kind of quote unquote write on, but not affect the original. I know this is a big thing. If you hand a student, let me jump back here for a second. If you hand a student a worksheet, they use their pencil, they can write on it, and they're not going to actually affect the stuff that's on there, the wording that's on there. So what I would say is, I'm going to show you how to do that basically with Google Slides. The other thing, if you want to use your phone as a camera, okay, so you're not going to use your laptop, your Chromebook, or whatever as a camera source, I can take pictures of this. You can install Google Photos, the app, onto your phone. It will then ask you, when you say yes, that all the photos will upload and stored online for you so that you have a backup. The benefit of that is if you lose your phone and only pictures are on your phone, they're gone. Google Photos will use it to automatically upload them and back them up. The trade-off is, and if you're concerned about this, is yes, they have your photos. They're storing them for you. So if you're concerned about that, so be it. The other reality, and this is really, really important, if you install Google Photos on your phone and you use your school account to do that, to sign in with it, it's going to upload those photos into your school account. So you can have 2 different accounts on Google Photos and jump back and forth. But you just want to make sure you don't want to necessarily take your personal photos that you took with your camera and have them uploaded to your school account. You want to be mindful of that, but that works. The benefit of it is, again, I don't have to worry about losing my phone because as soon as they're taken in a couple seconds, they're uploaded, backed up somewhere else. So they're always backed up. So even if I lost my phone, I won't lose any of my pictures. But I have them go to my personal Gmail account, and then if I want to move some to a student one, I'll copy and paste it that way. The other reality is, I don't know about you, but we have a lot of different camera sources. So my wife's phone, my kids have phones now. We have other, regular cameras, all these different cool places to take pictures. Well, we want them all to go to one place so they're not just lost forever. And so Google Photos has been a way for us to do that, where we kind of combine them. You can add another person, like your spouse or significant other, if you want, so that they will be able to share those photo albums with you, just straight up. And so that's all built right into Google Photos. All right. Let's check real quickly to see if there's any questions. We're doing great on time. Couple questions. Is this PD recorded? The answer is yes. All these will be recorded and posted right on rshu19.info. So if you miss something, or if you need to slow me down, I get it. I talk double speed. So if you want to put it to half speed, that's probably normal talking speed. Then you're welcome to do that. This will all be posted right to a YouTube link, and I'll have the information right with it. Other question, will Google let me upload a QuickTime video, a MacBook user? Yes and no. Yes, the short answer is yes. However, QuickTime videos are going to be big size, so you wouldn't want to upload into Google Photos. You would, however, would be able to upload directly into Google Drive. If you're in Google Drive, and click New, Upload, you can upload any file you want and store it there. And so what I would do is upload it that way. And once it's uploaded, if it's a video file, like a QuickTime video, that will be able to be seen by any student. If they click play, there's a player built right into it, so they'll be able to play and watch it. The only thing to note is, and this is a really good example, we want to be really mindful of our kids that they may have internet, but they don't have Wi-Fi. They have like cell data they have data plans on their phones. The issue there is they wouldn't want to watch a big long video with their cell data. I mean, that would be a concern. So we have to just think about that again. And I'm not sure if we know exactly at this point, we know which students have internet or not, but you might want to ask your students in a Hangout or just a questionnaire, if you have internet, which kind do you have, to make sure they can watch that. Okay. Delete them off your phone. If you delete them off your phone, they stay in Google. That was a question. Yes. So if I upload pictures, so if they upload into Google Photos, they're off your phone. Every once in a while, in fact, it will ask you, hey, you have a lot of photos that have already been uploaded. Do you just want to remove those from your phone to save space? And you just click, yep, and they'll go away. So you're not really saving photos on the phone. You are for a little while, but they're really, backed up elsewhere. And we won't get into this today, but just so you know, some of the benefits of that. Again, here's the trade-off. The trade-off is they have your photos. Now, if you're creeped out by that, so be it. The benefit is, I don't know about you, but we take, so many photos, like thousands and thousands and thousands of photos. In fact, the figure that I've heard is we actually have, we take more photos every year than we have in all the previous years combined, because we have so many cameras around. And so I don't take the time, and most people don't, to organize all those. So one of the benefits of Google Photos is it will organize for you in ways that make sense. So for example, if you do a trip, that trip, it'll all be organized by, trip to Boston or whatever it is. Or if you take, have a geographical location, like here's, yesterday in China, Maine, or whatever. So you have all that stuff together. The other reality too is you can search by individual things. So if I search in my photos for like, blue car, if it finds a blue car, it will show me pictures with that in it. So that's kind of beneficial as you go walk through too. All right, I'm going to move on. I want to share one other thing. I am going to switch it over to screen capture. The reason why I had to do it that way is because it was using the camera. Somebody asked about why I had to use this camera to see another screen. But in this situation, I'm going to be able to do a screen capture, which hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit easier, a little bit better. I'm going to present. Again, it's going to be a little inception here, kind of a screen inside of a screen for a second. But once I load it here, that looks good. Looks like everybody's here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how you would be able to do a document where you can leave some things that kids wouldn't really be able to edit. As far as they technically, there's ways to do it. I'll show you what that looks like, but they basically would write things on top of other things. So, for example, I'm going to start with the little waffle up here and go to Drive. Okay, so now I'm in my Google Drive. Let's see, Mr. Beach just edited. I wonder who you think is more cuter, Baby Yoda or Baby Groot. I'll have to check that out. All right, so to answer Shane's question earlier, if I did want to upload a video like a QuickTime video, in my upper left here where it says New, I'll click on that, and I can go to File, Upload, and I can upload pretty much any file that I want. I can upload an image. I can upload anything I want, a video file, whatever it is. The only limit that I know about is it has to be less than 2 terabytes big, which is crazy huge. So don't even worry about that. So it's basically you can just upload that, and once it's uploaded, it will be stored. If you upload a video, it may not instantly be accessible. And the reason why is because it is processing. You'll say it's still processing. What that means is that they're taking a little time because they have to do what's called Content ID. So again, if you ever watch a YouTube video and somebody in the background's playing the radio and they have copyrighted music being played, the Content ID tag might take that down. And so that's what's going on with that. So it will take a minute. It won't be instant. But after it's uploaded and stored, then you'll be able to share it out and you'll have copies of it. But what I want to show you is, in this case specifically, how I would do a document that I add things in the background that kids wouldn't be able to necessarily edit. So the first thing I'm going to do is click New, Google Slide. And you may think that's kind of weird. Why am I doing slides? I'll show you. I'll explain that exactly. Google Docs or Google Drive doesn't really have a great desktop publisher. If you think about a Google Doc, it will keep scrolling down because it's really designed almost like a website editor because it can just keep scrolling on forever. And that's cool for text and maybe a picture here and there. But if I really want to make a document that looks like a graphic that has different spaces on it, has images kind of floating around, I would use Google Slides, and I'm going to show you exactly why. The first thing I'm going to do, I click New Google Slide. I'm going to exit out Themes up here on the right, just to kind of hide that away. These things in the middle here, these boxes that are kind of by default already there, they do that so that, hey, you already have something to work with. That's cool, but I want to get rid of them. If I click inside of these boxes, you'll notice here, if I click Delete, it's just trying to delete the text inside of it. It's not actually trying to delete the actual box itself. So what I want to do is if I click below all of these, I'm going to click and hold down, and I'm going to drag up like that. And I'm going to select both of them at once. I'll do that one more time. So I clicked away from them, not either one of these boxes. Clicked and dragged, slid up like this. And now if I push delete, the box itself will go away. Awesome. One last thing, in this case, I've got these speaker notes down at the bottom. Again, I don't need that in this case for real estate. I can drag those up or down like this. Or what I have my students do typically when we remove that, I say view up in the upper left, and I uncheck show speaker notes. So there we go. We have a little more real estate to work with. We can bring that back up again. I'm going to change the background real quickly here, just so I think it's a little bit easier to see. Let's make it green here. So it's a little bit easier for people to see on the screen here as we're watching the video. All right, so there's my background. Now that's cool, but Kern, I want this to look like an actual document. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the dimensions. We're going to customize the dimensions of it. File, page setup down in the lower left here. Right now, by default, it's widescreen. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to custom, and we're going to change that to 8.5 by 11 inches. And that's going to look like a regular piece of paper. So that's our standard, document size. And also, if I was going to print this out, this would be print out a regular, on a regular sheet of paper. If I was doing this with younger kids, and if I was worried about them putting text on places that on the edge, where if you remember, if I was going to print this out, it would have to print right to the edge. The printer has to have something to grab onto. So if I was worried about that, I might even make the dimensions a little bit smaller, like 8.25 by 10.5 inches, so that the students wouldn't fill up the very, very edge of the paper. But in this case, I'm going to use this just to show you. So I'm going to put a text box in here. And let's say I want to ask a question. I'm going to make the text a little bit bigger just so you guys can see it easier. So who was cuter? So here's an open-ended question for who was cuter, and I'm going to put a box underneath it, right here, a text box that I want the students to answer into. Now I'm just clicking on this little T up here for a text box and dragging this along. If I want them to know that this is actually a box I want to write into, I'm also going to make the border be solid so they can see it. So I'm going to click on this little border weight here. It looks like 3 lines, kind of dashes like that. And we'll make it a little bit thicker. And now if I click away from it, I can see there's a box here. Now that's fine. That works well, except if right now the kids could take this text box and they could move it, they could delete it, they could do all kinds of stuff to it. So I don't want that. I want them to be able to only see this text, but not actually be able to edit and change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this text box right here, the top one. Now notice I didn't click inside of it. I'm not selecting the text inside of it. I'm actually selecting the entire box. And I'm going to cut it, copy it or cut it. Now I'm going to go to View, Master. The master is when you have a new slide, basically it's offering you, hey, do you want to have certain things automatically appear? These are like those 2 text boxes that immediately appeared when we first started. So again, I'm going to get rid of all the ones that are already there. Again, I notice how I clicked away from it over here and selected first. I didn't click inside of it and try to do it because it gets really weird. Like, it's only doing this stuff. It's only doing the text. So I clicked over here and selected all. And now I'm going to delete. And now when I paste that in there, this is going in the background. So what do I mean by that is if I go X right here in the upper right-hand corner, now on the regular document, I can't click on that. It's just in the background. But I can click in here and leave text like that. Now, one drawback is you can't really stop them from moving this box as far as that goes, moving around, but at least they can leave the questions in the background. And you could put a box in the back too if you wanted them to, or if you just wanted to print this out and then give them that way. So I'll give you one other example. I'm going to do a math problem here. Again, I'll make the format a little bit bigger so you can see it. And we'll say 9 and plus 8. And I'll do lines underneath it. Now, the problem here is this is kind of over on the left. So this entire box here, I'm going to click on this format, this align tool on the toolbar, and do it on the right side. That looks a little better. All right, so if I want to do a worksheet like that, and I want them to have this but not be able to change, no, let's do 2 of them. I'll make 2 versions here. I'll just copy and paste that. We'll say this one is 4 plus 7. All right, so I want those to be there, but I don't want them to be able to edit in a Google Doc. What I would do is I would make it first, move it around how you want it. Again, this is one piece of paper here, so I'd move it around like you want it. I would select those. I'm going to cut them. I can either hit Control X or I can edit, cut. There we go. View master. Now in the master slide, I'm going to paste them or Control V. There they are in my master slide. If I X out of here, now they can't click on them in here. You can put a text box below it, and they can put the answer below it. Let's say this one's 11, whatever. The other thing to note too is notice how it came out the font and the size that it is. So you're probably going to want to make that bigger for them. So as they're typing, especially younger kids, they don't have to do that part. They can just click in here, type in 11 or type in the right answer and have it ready to go. So this document as well, just like all the other ones, I'm going to close that box out, empty it so it's there, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be edited by the students there. And let me take the answer out of this one. Okay, I'm going to add that to my Google Classroom. Back to Classroom. Here we are. I'm going to do some more classwork. I'm going to make an assignment. We're going to create an assignment here. This time the assignment is complete the worksheet. And I'm just realizing now that I forgot to add, and I'm going to put that to my notes, the conventions that we should be using for naming. So I will definitely do that for Monday. I should have added that today, and I just realized I forgot. But we will add that for Monday, where we're talking about conventions of naming. So completing the worksheet is a really, really bad name for an assignment for students, because, again, that's going to get lost in the shuffle. So we'll really focus on that for next time. Click Add right here. Go to Google Drive. Find that document I just created. Here it is. Now, it is an untitled presentation, so I'll click Add that. Every student will make a copy, and I will assign it. And so now they're going to go back. They'll be able to fill theirs in and click Turn In. Again, you can look at it what it looks like from a student perspective. They'll be able to click Turn In, and when they do that, they will have theirs back. They'll have their information back and send it to you. We will do more versions of how to be able to take photos and do digital to digital work. We'll do a little bit more media. So if they want to do video, right now we've been focused on video of you as the teacher recording either video or text or audio and giving that to students. But at some point we'll get to the point where we'll want to, how do we show students so they can record themselves, either video or text or audio or some combination of those. And so we'll do that as well at some time at a later date. I do want to jump back on. And let me stop sharing my screen here. And I can look through the notes. So one question that came up, I can't find a math editor in Google Slides. I try to make a proportion, not good. A screenshot from another source, but looking for a better solution. A couple things with that. One, your easiest screenshot tool, if you're using a Chromebook, is going to be that Screencastify. Even if it's not for video, you can just do screen capture. There's another one called Nimbus, Nimbus. Which does something very similar, and that will take you can take a screenshot of a piece of an equation you create. Let's say you create an equation in Google Docs. You want to take a screenshot of that or an image of that, and you can either drag that or you can insert that directly into Google Slides. The other question: if we want to view parts of these sessions we missed, where do we find them? All of these sessions are being recorded, and they're all going to be available on rshu19.info. Right now, I'm still working on the organization of that. I'm hopeful, I think by Monday, by this weekend, I'll be able to organize all that so that we'll be able to have it up and going. So you can go back if you missed one, or even just want to revisit a part of one. You'll have the video and you'll have the tutorial. And I noticed that some of these, the setup, some of the actual videos, they're a little bit washed out because we're looking at a screen. So I'm going to work on fixing that as well this weekend. I think I'll be able to take care of that. One other thing that I wanted to change about the link here. So we did kind of the order is going to be for the sessions going forward from 10 to 11. We'll start off with questions from yesterday, so questions from the audience. So if you guys have questions, maybe to revisit something that we talked about, or even more questions going forward, let me know. We can add to that. Also, if you we'll do one topic each day, like an actual kind of deep dive. Right now, it looks like two things. I'm going to talk about naming work, naming conventions for Monday for sure, because I didn't get to that today. And it sounds like I'll probably do Google Voice on Monday, because I know a lot of people are asking me about that to connect. If you have other ideas or other things you'd like to hear from me, like how do I do X, Y, or Z, let me know, and we'll add that to the list. And then also, I want to end with something each day that's worth time well spent. So something I want to spend the last 5 to 10 minutes, something that, maybe a resource or an opportunity or a video or a podcast or a book or just something that you think it's worth, educators' time to take and see that. So on the show notes for today, I made it a point to add, this was actually shared by Lisa Neal. So I thought this was a really cool video. This is a TED Talk. The video is Every Kid Needs a Champion by Rita Pearson. I'm not going to play it right now, but if you want to go on and, click the link and have a second to watch that, I would like to add kind of something at the end each day that's worthwhile to share. And I have one other treat for you. Let me see if he's available. I'll be right back. Don't move. I thought it would also be a fun way to end the podcast or the video this week, as well as end the week on a kind of a high note. 2 pieces of news. I thought this would be great to share. One, I did have heard from Keith. Some of you may or may not know, my brother Keith Kelly has been ill for a couple months and so forth, and he's been going to get treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he had his last treatment, I think it was last week, and he had the PET scan, and he got pulled back, and the results could not be better. Everything looks fantastic. I don't know physically if it's like 100% out of the woods, but it's as good as it can be right now. It's really, really good news. Everything went awesome. So it just couldn't be better as far as that goes. I think he's going back in one more time for like a follow-up or something. But really, really good news there. So I thought, like I said, if we have good news to share, this is a great way to do it. Again, if anything, people come in, let me know of something to share. I know Miss Netto put something on about, figuring out which the boy or girl coming up for one of the teachers there. But I also want to share one last thing. I was going to have my son take it away this week as far as playing one of his pieces. He's going to be doing, if we end up having the piano recital, or if not, he'll be able to play it for you guys on our way out today. So thank you guys all. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you can get outside a little bit if it's nice enough out and get some fresh air. And we will see you all on Monday at 10 to 11, just like we have been. So Kason, take it away. Yay. Awesome, Kason. Nice job. Thank you guys all. We'll see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care, be safe, and take care of each other. Bye.
You said you went for the camera.
Oh, I didn't realize it. Okay.